What's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now as we know, the tomahawk ribeye is the ultimate steak. It's big, extremely marbled, and a showstopper on the dinner table. But today, I'm gonna show you a tomahawk ribeye like you've never seen before. This is the king of all tomahawks. It's bigger, even beefier, and quite honestly, it's the most unique steak I've ever cooked. In fact, I found other uses for it beyond just being a steak.
They're gonna go nuts when he hits this thing.
This steak was custom cut and it's impossible to find in stores. Both of these steaks are American Wagyu, and as you can tell, that marbling is incredible. So with that, let's get started. Let's talk tomahawks. This right here is a traditional tomahawk. It's essentially a bone-in ribeye with two primary muscle groups. We have the eye, and we have the prized cap. And of course we have that big bone, which makes for amazing presentation. Now this tomahawk over here is anything but traditional. First and foremost, check out that size differential. There are very few steaks that can make a tomahawk look like a shrimp. Just like a ribeye, we have the eye, nice big cap muscle, but we also have the complexus, which is part of the shoulder. This tomahawk here has many of the same characteristics as a ribeye. However, ribeyes stretch from bones 6 through 12. This is the 5th bone on the cow. It's technically part of the shoulder, making it extra beefy, and it's often called a Delmonico steak. Now, what really makes this steak unique is what we have going on the sides. As you can see on this side, we have all of this meat up top. This is called lifter meat. We also have all of these bones still attached, all of which are typically never included in a tomahawk. This is one of my absolute favorite cuts. As you can see, it's completely packed with marbling, extremely beefy in flavor, and absolutely delicious when cooked correctly. Now before we take on this absolute beast, we gotta warm up a little bit. Let's learn how to cook the perfect tomahawk steak. We're gonna cook this tomahawk using the reverse sear method. In my opinion, this is the best way to cook a tomahawk, and really any thick cut for that matter. But of course, we gotta take this to the next level. We're gonna try something I've never done before. We got some beautiful strips of bacon, and we're gonna use them to wrap up the bone. I'm adding a thin layer of avocado oil to help that rub stick. And for our seasoning, I'm adding a coarse grained beef rub. Get both sides as well as the edges. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that this steak is looking ready to hit the grill. Get the grill fired up. We're smoking over applewood, low and slow. If you're enjoying this, do me a quick favor and give this video a thumbs up. We're gonna start by cooking indirect at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. We got our tomahawk on the grill. Let's get started on the king of all steaks. Now the biggest challenge with cooking a steak like this is that both sides of the steak need to be cooked to different temperatures. Short ribs are filled with sinew and need to be cooked past well done to get tender. This ribeye or Delmonico section is already extremely tender and should be cooked to medium rare. To solve this problem, we're gonna try using a method that I've never seen done before. We're gonna start by seasoning our steak side, and we're keeping it simple. We have kosher salt, black pepper, and garlic powder. Just adding a thin layer of avocado oil to both sides. This is gonna help our seasoning stick. Add our kosher salt. This is a really big and thick cut, so be generous. Freshly ground black pepper and our garlic powder. Now for the short rib side, we're gonna get a little bit more creative with our seasonings. We have a really nice coarse beef rub and a really herbaceous chimichurri rub. Make sure to get both sides as well as the edges. The next thing we're gonna do is bag up our steak and get ready for the sous vide process. It hasn't even touched the grill yet, but I'm already getting hit with the amazing smell of herbs and garlic. Our steak is fully bagged up. Let's prepare the sous vide bath. The sous vide method often gets confused with boiling, but in fact they're very different. Sous vide is a technique that allows us to cook steaks to very precise temperatures. And what I've done is cut up a piece of styrofoam that's gonna allow just the short rib to be submerged, leaving the top of the tomahawk completely raw. Remember, we want that top side to be cooked to medium rare, which we'll do on the grill. Now we're just gonna add some ice packs to the sides to try to keep it cold. Top of the freezer bag. Go. We're gonna let this cook for a few hours, but now it's time to go back outside and check on that steak. remove from the bone, and slice directly down the middle. We have a beautiful medium rare, wall to wall. And our steak is cooked beautifully. Near perfect edge to edge medium rare with a nice crust, all thanks to the reverse sear method. And just like that, steak number 1 is complete and it is looking and smelling incredible. Time for a bite, and this piece right here, the cap, has my name right on it. With salt. Wow. You already know I'm going for that bone. The bone's already the best part, but with that bacon, wow, this is awesome. As delicious as this was, and trust me, this is incredible, we still have one more steak to cook. So with that, let's do it. Well, I just ate half a tomahawk ribeye. It's currently 10 p.m., so I am not hungry for steak. But it's been 4 hours. Let's open this up. You'll notice that I double bagged this due to these bones. Time to remove from the bag. And here we have our half-cooked tomahawk. The first thing I notice is that separation here on the short rib. It's really tightened up and come closer to the top. And I can tell the short rib has already started to render. I'm thinking that by the time we're done cooking this, it's gonna be perfect. Over here towards the eye, it looks like it's been cooked, but really that's just surface level from the steam. I can tell it's still completely raw on the inside. Let's get it on the grill. Once again, we have our grill cranked up to 250, and we're starting by cooking indirect. Notice how I'm focusing the sear on that short rib. It's already cooked past well done, and I wanna make sure it's fully rendered with a great crust. Once the color looks good, time to take it off. We finally made it, and just take a look at this steak. It's been sous vide, smoked, and seared. And honestly, at this point, it's anybody's guess if I've cooked it correctly. But with that said, let's cut into it. Following down the bone, so it's just coming right off. We got a little anatomy lesson going here. Time to peel away that lifter meat. Now we're gonna slice up some of this lifter meat. Just like the short rib, we're going against the grain. I'm gonna trim up this fat here. And what we're left with here is essentially just a traditional tomahawk. Now we're gonna remove what's essentially the ribeye, but in this case it's a Delmonico. And it's finally time to slice into the eye. Well, we finally made it, and I can confidently say this is one of the craziest things that I've ever cooked. Just looking at this, I mean, it is hard to believe that this is all coming from one steak. We have our short rib, our Delmonico, and our lifter meat, and I gotta say, it looks amazing. Now, before I taste it, there's something I need to point out. Well done, rare, medium rare, all the same steak, so no complaints, guys, in the comments. If this isn't enough to create peace among meat eaters, I don't know what will. Okay, first I'm going for the short rib. Now the big challenge here is making sure it's tender enough, so let's see what we got. It is definitely tender enough. That is delicious. While it doesn't have that complete pull-apart texture that you'd see in American-style barbecue, there's a little bite to it, but still really nice and tender. Next, I'm going for the Delmonico. Grab a piece right by the cap, just the best part. The salt. That's hard to beat. It's smoky, cooked perfectly, really nice crust to it. Honestly, it reminded me of that steak we cooked before, but to me, excellent. Lastly, we're gonna try this lifter meat. I already know for a fact that this is gonna be a little bit too tough, but we'll see. Cut against the grain, that bitch is actually great. In general, lifter meat, you kind of have to cook it similar to like a short rib, but in this case, maybe it's just a piece I got, but it was actually really good. Well, there it is, guys. 1 steak, 3 cuts. That was a lot of fun to make. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Got way more stuff just like this coming soon. I'll see you next time.